Hey math kids, this is just a quick video to show you a new technique that I found out for restricting domain and in some cases restricting the range. So most of the time we're going to approach it as restricting the domain. So remember your assignment is to redraw this using functions. I'm not going to redraw the entire thing on this video, but maybe we'll focus on maybe this eyebrow or something like that. So I'm going to use an upside down parabola, and I'm going to use Vertex Form so I can move it around. So I definitely need to move it up. So I'm going to say maybe 2.2, maybe more than that. Let's see, I guess the eyebrow is about 3, 2.5, something like that. Then I need to move it to the left, so I'm going to add maybe 1, something like that. Okay, also it needs to get wider, and so to do that, I need to do like 1/2. Maybe that's good. Needs to move up a tiny bit. I think it needs to get a little bit wider. So maybe change this to a 2.2, 2.3, 4, 5, maybe. That looks pretty. Now I'm going to go back to 2.4, maybe 2.3. I think it just needs to move to the right a little bit more. So this needs to be like a 0.9, 0.8. Okay, that looks pretty good for his eyebrow. And now I want to restrict the domain. So it looks like maybe it's like -1 point. So let's see. Set this equal to y. And then you're going to do curly brackets at the end. And we're going to say what we want the domain to be restricted to. So I'm going to say maybe -1.5 is less than x is less than maybe -0.25. Let's see what that looks like. Alright, that looks pretty good actually. And so that would be like the bottom part of his eyebrow. And then maybe I would want to do some other piece. Now, let's also do like a vertical line. So what we're going to do is say like x equals -0.25. Okay. And I want that just to be like this piece of his eyebrow that we can kind of fill in, and we'll do another parabola to get his eyebrow. So to me that looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So those are all 0.2. So 1, 2. So maybe 2.45, I would say. So 2.45 is less than y because we're restricting the vertical. And then I only want it to go like right here, which is probably 2.65. Whoops, what happened? Less than 2.65. Okay. Now I'm going to use like this same parabola to draw, but I want to move it to the right a little bit more, and then I'm going to move it up. Okay, that was too far up, so 2.9, 8, 7. Okay, and I'm thinking maybe it needs to move to the left just a tiny bit. So to do that, we do that. Okay, now if I turn off the picture for a second, you can see that looks pretty good for an eyebrow. You can, modify things a tiny bit, like vertical. Maybe I'm gonna get that a little bit like that, so it lines up a little bit better. And this needs to be a little bit higher, so maybe 0.6 or 7. And we can see that looks like a pretty good eyebrow. Okay, so that's the gist of what you're going to be doing, and definitely use this new technique for binding the domain and range. You're only going to use the range one if you're doing vertical lines. So if you do x equals a number for a vertical line, you're going to restrict the range. All the other ones, you're going to be restricting the x value or the domain. All right, if you need additional help, come to Math Lab. Until then, calculator.